All right, hey everyone, it's A John. I post videos about cryptocurrency on a daily. I post videos about Dogecoin for the technical analysis, and today I'll be covering some Bitcoin news and why I believe it'll be hitting 100K before you know it. So I'm gonna start off by watching this one tweet here with you guys, a video, so you can watch it and understand why I believe it'll happen. So the mayor at Francis Suarez, who wants Miami to embrace Bitcoin, pushes back on Yellen, calling it extremely inefficient. It doesn't surprise me at all that a Treasury Secretary would find a decentralized potential currency to be hostile to a currency that they currently control. All right, the video's here you go. You watch it real quick.
Some of the city's reserves in Bitcoin, letting people pay taxes in Bitcoin. Isn't that risky? And tell me, how would that work?
Obviously, anytime you invest in anything, of course it's risky. Absolutely no obligation whatsoever for any of our employees to do that. In terms of the investment part, we invest in a variety of different commodities, whether they be,
Let me pause there for a second. So you hear the mayor of Miami here saying that they invest in commodities here, right? And there's this whole debate here recently about how Bitcoin is now kind of like the digital gold for the most part. So what the mayor is saying here is not too far off. And if a city can invest in Bitcoin, oh my gosh, that is a huge institution that are just ready to buy. But let me continue now.
sugar, pork bellies, whatever the commodity may be.
Well, sure, but none of those other commodities fluctuate 10, 20% in a day the way Bitcoin does.
That's why it's something that we're studying, not necessarily something we're jumping right into.
I want to read you something that Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said. Bitcoin is an extremely inefficient way of conducting transactions and is a highly speculative asset. I mean, so when you hear that from the Treasury Secretary, doesn't that make you think twice?
It doesn't surprise me at all that a Treasury Secretary would find a decentralized potential currency to be hostile to a currency that they control. For people who invest in Bitcoin, the allure is precisely that it's not backed by a central government, so it's not manipulatable by a central government.
You're talking about investing government resources in this completely decentralized resource, which scares people a bit.
Does it scare you? I guess it scares you.
I don't live here.
Okay, well, I guess it scares you.
It doesn't scare you.
I think it's something worth studying. I think it's something worth studying and worth looking at.
I mean, we are literally on a precipice of a new horizon here. I mean, when have we ever heard of a new currency coming into play? You know, usually it's one country, one currency, like United States, U.S. dollar, China, the yuan. You know, we have never heard of a currency that isn't associated with a country here. And here you are having cities in America who want to actually buy a currency that is not even related to any country here. And the fact that that's even considered, this tells you how much things are changing, and we're seeing such exponential growth in cryptocurrency here. So let me go on to another tweet here about Citibank, and Citibank has released a 100-page report on Bitcoin. Bitcoin attributes CodeSpur it to become the currency of choice for international trade. Bitcoin is at a tipping point, and we could be at the start of a massive transformation of cryptocurrency into the mainstream. What this means to me is that currency of choice for international trade. Currently, that is a U.S. dollar, right? Everyone, everyone wants U.S. dollars. When you buy oil, you want to use U.S. dollars to kind of trade for it here. But imagine the future using Bitcoin instead, though, where it's not able to be, print a bunch of money by, say Jerome Powell, and if you can't print a bunch of money for it, then the value will intrinsically increase here. I see gold as another way of trading as well, because every country in the world will accept gold as a acceptable currency, right? Who do you know will not accept gold or silver as a means of a currency, right? So Bitcoin here is making leaps and bounds of digital commodity right here, aka digital gold, and they are making this so much progress with it. So let me go into the report here and show you guys what I'm saying. All right, I'll go over to some of the parts I found very interesting here. Okay, so let's see, where is it at? Here you go. Where is it? Here you go. In the report that follows, the author that notes the biggest change with Bitcoin is a shift from it being primarily a retail focused endeavor to something that looks attractive for institutional investors. In the past, um, people want a Bitcoin to be a digital currency, where, hey, I want to buy a pizza with like, 1 Bitcoin back then or something, or I want to buy a car with some Bitcoin, right? It's more retail, it's more on a small scale here. But when you hear the word institutional investors, that means big money, where you put billions of dollars, millions of dollars. For example, case in point, Tesla a week or two ago, put up $1.5 billion in Tesla money into Bitcoin. The more institutional money that goes into Bitcoin, the more stable it's going to be because these people aren't necessarily trading it; they're buying it and holding it, and that's going to increase the value. I mean, some will trade it, but for the most part, these companies are looking for alternatives to park their money. They don't want to be buying bonds for like 1.1% yield or 1.5% yield, right? With Bitcoin, you get literally hundreds of percent of yield, right? I mean, it's almost like a no-brainer, right? Again, in a search for yield and alternative assets, investors are drawn to Bitcoin's inflation hedging properties, and it is recognized as a source of digital gold due to its finite supply. Again, US dollar. Jerome Powell can just print away his problems, right? Just print, 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 print. Inflation, blah, blah, blah. Here. But Bitcoin here has a finite supply. It doesn't increase anymore. They capped it at a certain rate, so the only way to increase it is just increase the price of it. Another thing here, to put it into perspective, it's kind of similar. It's kind of similar to the current housing market, right? Where you have literally almost no supply, or maybe a 1.5 month supply, and you have all this demand for people who want to buy a single family house. So that's why the price is increasing, just because of lack of supply. And here is the same thing here. So what I'm trying to get at with that example is that it puts it into perspective. So if you don't know what Bitcoin is, or what it really is, you can understand the housing market, because almost everyone, knows what a house is, and they know what the market's like. So currently, the point being is that supply of Bitcoin is low, demand's gonna be high, because all of these institutional investors are gonna want to buy it to hold it for their hedge against inflation, or they just want to have a different asset class in their portfolio. They don't want to do all cash, and the company is growing. So where do you put your money? Your excess profits, right? You can even buy back your own stock so much, right? So for them, this is actually a way better way to actually use their money and to gain more profit in the future. Okay, so back to the article. Specific enhancements to exchanges, trading, data, and custody servers are increasing and being revamped to accommodate the requirements of institutional investors. This means that Bitcoin is literally evolving. That means these Bitcoin developers are creating these new tools and these new technologies for the institutional investors, which just tells you there is demand for it, and that's why they're making it, right? I mean, it's very simple. Why would he make something if no one wants it? Let's go into the next picture here. Check it out. Here we go. An infographic here. Mainstream acceptance or speculative implosion here. 36% of small to medium businesses in the U.S. accepting Bitcoin in 2020. That is a lot of businesses. I haven't seen too many in LA personally, so I'm not sure where these 36% are from. Maybe they're online, but then again, I haven't really been out either, right? Because the pandemic. 536 million plus 55% Bitcoin monthly trading volumes in South Africa and Nigeria in August 2020. That is impressive. I mean, who would think South Africa will be trading Bitcoin, right? I mean, I know Bitcoin is everywhere. It can be traded by anyone and anywhere, as long as you have the exchange to buy it. But I would never think of South Africa buying Bitcoins, or Nigeria. But hey, we live in a different world now, right? Not that I'm being racist or anything. I'm just saying. It just didn't occur to me. So that means that there's gonna be a huge demand in the future. 20 billion per day Bitcoin OTC trading volumes in early 2020. Wow, $20 billion traded per day. That is huge. I mean, and once you add in the institutional investor to stabilize the coin, it's only gonna go higher. Because once you stabilize it, that means you're stable, and when you're stable, you don't go down. This is gonna be your new landing mark here. So from there, it's only up. It's gonna be crazy, people. 500 billion crypto exchange volume in the first 3 weeks of 2021, twice the volumes of 2017 and 2018. I mean, that is phenomenal growth. So I mean, literally, I mean, wow. The more people trade it, eventually people are gonna get stuck with their positions, and they're gonna hold it until the water comes back up, so you can push to float them back up, and then they can sell. But I mean, and plus, with also the $1,400 stimulus coming soon, these people are gonna have money and they're gonna want to park their money somewhere, right? And then think, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll buy some Bitcoin, and then the price will increase because of that. All due to our Uncle Jerome Powell just printing the money for us and handing it out. Okay, let's see here. Next article here. Here you go. Emerging views that Bitcoin is analogous to digital gold take on increased importance against this backdrop, helping to feed mainstream institutional investors initial forays into the space as they look into digital currencies as a portfolio diversifier and macro hedge. Literally against inflation here again. So if Citigroup is watching Bitcoin now and making a report about this, to me that just means that it's becoming more mainstream. And the more mainstream it is, the more accepted it'll become over time. And over time, it's coming actually quite sooner than later here. I mean, I remember Bitcoin back then; it was like worth nothing. Now it's like amazing the amount of growth they had and still have. And in the future, I still believe we will definitely hit 100K this year. I have no reason to doubt it. Just given the fact that everyone's kind of jumping on board right now, and everyone is saying, "Hey, there's a lot of inflation in America. A lot of money printing. So where are we gonna park our money at?" And this seems like a safe haven here. Okay, so these are some of the articles in the news today that I believe that will push Bitcoin forward to 100K, and I believe we're gonna get there. I personally have to invest in it. Of course, not like these guys have it, but a lot less there. 'Cause I'm not an institutional buyer. And again, it's A John. Leave a comment below about what you think about these articles here. How do you feel about the 100K coming? Do you think it's coming? Do you think it's not coming? Do you think we're gonna go back to zero? Give me a like, subscribe, a thumbs up. If you find it interesting. And I'll catch you guys on the next article. Catch you later.